What's going on, guys? So this is my first tutorial video that I'm sure you've all been waiting on, and I'm about to shoot the whole thing. The process of coloring, I don't know if you could see, there you go. This piece right here, it's actually going to be a panel from my comic book. These two characters are the human forms of my night demon ghost cloud characters. So they're gonna have their shapeshifters, so they could shapeshift into a human form as well as their typical ghostly form. Yeah, people have been asking about, showing how I color, how I use markers, and so on and so forth. And to be honest, I don't really have a like specific way, or for every type of piece. It kind of like the order shifts, the order of steps, that is. Sometimes I'll be like coloring, then I'll add some ink. Sometimes I'll start with ink and then color. A pattern I've noticed with these panels is I ink first, which is something I almost never do. But I guess to keep consistent with that method, I'm just gonna ink this, this sketch here, and then go from there. And I think, yeah, like this, I'm about to record the whole, session, and then I'm gonna split it up into, separate pieces for, let's say a tutorial playlist or a coloring playlist. But yeah, let's start with inking. So I got a set of these micron pens with a couple non-micron pens here. These are the Copic multi-liners. And I'm gonna pick this one. Yeah, I think this will be good. The 03, which I think you can see there. And we're gonna start with that. And then as we go, I'll start erasing once I find my eraser. Of course, it would be missing my handy dandy glove, or half glove, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, let's start. I think the reason I start with inking for these comic panels is just because they're not, I guess, I mean, I do throw them in an editor after I finish, so these are more, they're just different than my typical, like, artworks that I'm gonna hang up or something. These are just for, I know they're gonna go through some editing to give them all like a consistent look on the page of the comic book. So I kind of treat them with less, what am I trying to say? Not less seriousness, but like less OCD, that's for sure, less perfectionism. But yeah, let's get into it here. Let's make sure. I got the double camera thing going. I wonder where my voice will sound better. It's a very basic rig here. Yeah, for these first lines, they're meant to be, skinny, thin lines, not going too hard here. And I'm using this .03, I don't even know the measurement, but it's the 03 ink liner, because I feel like after I erase, it'll kind of fade a little bit, so that when I go over it with colors, it won't bleed into my colors that much. And this is a risk I would never take if this was like a piece of art that I was gonna hang up. Although, I mean, some of the works that I've done for comic panels end up, I'm like, I like this enough to frame. For example, this one here that I need to hang up still. I had it on display at the art show, but haven't really hung it up after I got it back. And right now we are inking up Candy, and it's a little hard to ink because of this blue Prismacolor pencil sketch. But again, that's okay, because these aren't meant to be like the hardest of lines. And normally I would erase, but like I said, the blue Prismacolor is so light that if I erase, I won't even be able to see like my guidelines here. So we're just inking over it, and then we'll erase, and then we'll figure it out from there. Princess Candy and Prince Cotton, the two devilish twins ruling Onion City in my story. And this is the first time I've drawn them in a human form. It's funny because I was like referencing Android 17 and 18 for these guys, as well as like Team Rocket from Pokemon, so you can definitely see some influence there. They're like a curly-haired version. Even the outfits I'm going for like minimal, you know, but futuristic, very Fear of God brand inspired when it comes to the outfits for my characters in Onion City. Like loose sweats, loose clothing, etc. I might just do the outline of her hair. We can get into the curls later, because I definitely want to color their hair pink. The same pink I use for their, you know, ghostly forms. It's hard to tell if this ink is worn out or if it's just struggling to write over the pencil. It might be a little bit of both. Yeah, maybe I'll switch it. Go with 2. I don't know if this will be better. So I guess this is the inking piece of the tutorial. I never understood with inking, I would see artists like do the hardest of black lines and then color over them. And I'm just like, yo, how did that not mess up your, you know, what's it called? Your markers when you color over them, especially if it's like if I'm inking this in hard lines and then all of a sudden I'm coloring over it in like a yellow marker. It's kind of like RIP to my yellow, and it's gonna smudge. And it's always been like as good and careful as I could get. It's always an inevitable struggle for me. Man, my markers are struggling right now. An inking tutorial with struggle tip markers that are running out of ink, apparently, and I had no idea. But that's fine, again, because we're going to erase all this blue. All the blue sketching is going to be erased, and then we'll get our color on, and then we'll re-ink. Call it counterproductive, it's just how I roll. My girl Candy got the neck tat, matching her brother's neck tat, throwing up the C's, but they ain't crippin' though. There we go. It's gotta be just the blue pencil, like coloring over it. That's the struggle. I'm really excited to get back into this comic. I started on it last year around this time, and then was debating drawing things out digital or, you know, traditional, and went the digital route, and then ended up not really liking how the characters were looking. And I think it just had to do with like my overall, I guess, experience with like drawing in the iPad, because I'm just in more control when I start traditional. Like even if I'm gonna edit in the iPad, it just comes out better if I started it on paper. And yeah, that's kind of, I had to like revamp it, start it over, and I started it over by just like drawing the panels on 6x6 inch paper like I am right now, and then playing and manipulating with them on the iPad. Like this will probably be rectangular on the actual comic book, but it's a square piece for what it is right now. Some would say, hey, why don't you just, you know, draw full pages on, you know, and use like a ruler and all that to get your comic panels, and I mean, I guess I could do that, but this is still an easier way for me to do it that isn't as time consuming as doing like a full page on paper. So I could just do panel by panel, figure out what it's going to be, draw it on this 6x6 inch, and then manipulate it into whatever rectangular shape I need it to be in the comic book using, I think, the Comic Draw app, or there's an app that I use that pretty much helps me lay out the whole thing. So here we've got candy pretty much done, at least for this first ink phase. Trying to get our nails in. You know, they gotta be fly. You know, there are these devilish creatures. They gotta be swaggy out here. I keep bumping my hat into my iPhone camera out here. Alright, let's get Cotton. Prince Cotton. And it's funny, I don't know. I don't have a method for where I start. I just decided, let me start with the nose. And I'm gonna keep saying this, there's no right or wrong order here. Like most would probably say it's inefficient to start with ink knowing that it's gonna need re-inking. But hey, it's up to the artist, man. The biggest challenge for me is gonna be making sure these guys look consistent in multiple drawings. That's something I struggle with, because I need to just do like character pages. Like if I just did a character page for each character of mine and just drew them 1,000 times, then they'd always be consistent. But instead, what I let myself do is I just get more consistent by just drawing them more in various pieces. So I guess that's a method of its own. I don't know. We're always fighting for time. It's always a battle. Like, I ain't got time for that. So I'm gonna just, keep drawing them and get better by doing that. But then it's like you might have a handful of pieces you're not happy with because of it. But it is what it is. To each his own. I was debating giving them matching earrings at first, but then I'm like, nah, matching chain probably looks better. Even though this chain was a struggle. It's like the marker was dying on me when I was trying to draw these C's attached to that little hook, making it look like a jailhouse tat. I'm Mr. Twist the piece around to get my wrist like at the best angle. Oh, I almost forgot Cotton's hair, giving him like a fade into the curls. Had to make him look a little unique. It's something I'm always striving for. Now back to now for his chain. I should have sketched these out better, but whatever. Kind of winging that. Okay, now for his hand. Tried to give him a little thumb pointing at himself like, yeah, we out here, bitch. Cocky asshole. This ink is flowing now. It's like it was struggling earlier. You already know he got some type of strap situation on these gloves. Cotton got the drip, yo. He might be an evil ruler who's like ruining Onion City, but he out here. You flexing on him. You got that drip you never heard of. Very rough inking here. We're almost there. Shout out to their layer game too. Your boy and girl, they got like some type of black tights underneath their, baggy drip crop top on male and female characters here. Bringing crop tops back. At least in this comic, you won't catch me in one. I ain't built for that life. I guess this will be like a draw with me series. I always see those. Maybe I should have gone live. That's what I should have done, but I just don't know how to do a dual camera live, so I like having the face-to-face so you guys see I'm a person, as well as the, camera pointed at the work. Look at that grin. My guy flexing hard. Almost done. It's part one at least. of the coloring tutorial. Just getting the last few lines in. You know, the stitching on the fanny pack, very important. Got a little sloppy there. What does he carry in his fanny pack? That's the question that we all want to know. Maybe it's better we don't know. Watch Cotton got the Glock in the fanny pack. Pull out with the burner when they try to diss him out here. That'd be wild. But I'm pretty sure these guys are powerful enough that they don't need weapons like that. They have a different type of weapon. They just sway you into doing evil things to yourself and to others. Real bad dudes, these guys. Don't trust them, no matter how good they look. Glove game, probably inspired by Dragon Ball Z. And we're basically done with this first inking. The next step for me, though, is probably to let it dry. Let it dry, and then after that, erase the blues, and then we'll get into coloring, and we'll see how that goes. But with that said, thank you for tuning in to the first tutorial, or at least the first part of this coloring series. Again, be sure to subscribe if you're new, hit the like button if you enjoyed this video and enjoyed learning about the comic a little bit. Yeah, support your boy. But yeah, now for real, till next time, peace.